Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin, and Ahsoka is finally out on Disney Plus. At least the first 2 episodes of that. I was really excited for this show. I mean, the Disney Star Wars stuff has been up and down. Kenobi was awful. Book of Boba Fett was awful. Season 3 of The Mandalorian was awful. I thought that was a disappointment. So, but what made me look forward to this was that it was all the episodes were but written by Dave Filoni. Another thing, if you guys can't tell, not my usual setup. I'm out of town at the moment, kind of taking some classes for this week, but I'm still going to be making videos. Hopefully, it's very echoey. I don't know how well that's going to turn out on video. Hopefully, it turns out good. I'm going to talk about episode 1 and episode 2 in this video. They're going to contain spoilers. It's going to kind of give you my quick thoughts on this. It's kind of late, but I do want to give my thoughts on both episodes. So starting with episode 1, I thought this was pretty good. There was definitely stuff in it, like so. Basically, it just starts out with Ahsoka trying to find this map that leads to Thrawn, and she's basically just trying to stop Thrawn's return. And so, it was a cool opening. I did like this. She fought with some like droids, and they had they had some sort of cool weapon that you've seen from the Clone Wars. I forget the name of it. And so it was a cool opening. Still a cliche type of opening. They're like, it's like so the droids kind of give up, and they're like, and even though there's 3 of them, but I guess they're like, well, she's too powerful, so it's just self-destruct. And this, honestly, I don't know why in anything, why the self-destruct takes forever to blow. I don't get it. It's a tiny nitpick, but it's like, really, every time you're going to self-destruct, just self-destruct. Stop giving them time to run away. It's like, and especially if you're going to say self-destruct, it's like, oh, you're going to self-destruct, then I'm just gonna bolt. Don't try to make it that big of a cliche, but I can excuse a tiny bit of that. Overall, the episode was still pretty good. And so, Rosario Dawson, I've liked her as the live-action Ahsoka. I thought she did a pretty good job of holding up this, basically her own episode, and so far her own series. It's sort of still a Rebels season 5-ish. You definitely feel the chemistry when they come back as a team. I think everyone as like their live-action versions of the characters from the animation did pretty good job. I'm not a big fan of the Rebel series. I did enjoy the first 2 seasons, but in season 3 and season 4, it's kind of felt a little bit of a cliche and sort of dragged in bits. But overall, it's not as good as the Clone Wars. I thought Mary Elizabeth did great as Hera. I thought she was, especially in episode 2, you definitely get to see more of the badass side of her. And as Natasha Bordizzo, I forget if that's how you say her name, as Sabine Wren, I thought she was great. There was tiny bits where it was very cliche, of course, where Sabine's being stubborn and like kind of being like pushy and all that, and that's basically the first episode of, it's just like reconnecting to these characters, but also sort of setting them up to be like, hey, you don't need to watch Rebels to understand it, even though it sort of is, because like there's these characters that know each other, and there's a lot of like scenes where it's like a very emotional weight from like memories basically from that animation show. And if you're not a person that watched the show, you're not going to really feel those moments, but they definitely try to say like, hey, these people know each other and they were really close, because Ezra, who is played by Eman, I not know how to say his last name, but there's a hologram. He calls her it's basically sister figure. So they kind of set things up and like, hey, it's okay if you don't watch the Rebel show, but we kind of encourage you to go watch it. Yeah, there's times where I was sort of getting annoyed with Sabine, but she does redeem herself by being a badass. Because in this first episode, is revealed that Sabine Wren was being trained by Ahsoka Tano, but she does not. We do find out in episode 2 that she does not really have the Force. She's not really Force sensitive, so she's more a Jedi that is, I don't know if there's a term for that, but she's basically knowing how to use a lightsaber and be sort of called a Jedi without using the Force. I don't know. I guarantee they'll probably set her up to be the Rey, to be to basically setting it up like, hey, here's a new female, badass like Rey, but this time she takes damage. Once again, I don't know why. Why does Disney have a hard time, when it comes to stabbing people? Like Sabine gets stabbed at the end of this episode, and she of course survives. They're not going to kill her off in the first episode. It's been ballsy, but of course they're not going to. And she gets stabbed. As who's another person that got stabbed? Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson's character. I get that she got more stabbed through here, so it's not really, I guess it's not really critical, and he more got stabbed through the spine, if anything. But again, it's just like they established that being stabbed isn't a bad thing anymore. It's kind of weird, and it's sort of a nitpick, but it's something I have to point out because we've only seen basically one person that's been ever stabbed and just never made it, and it's kind of weird. And so, which in the action, way better than the lightsaber fight is way better here than it was in Kenobi. There is no shaky cam bullshit, no weird light flares in the camera making it feel like it's a fan film. Even it's weird. And so everything was shot, everything looks great. The CGI looks amazing, because mostly they probably gave them an actual budget. The villain setups, Ray Stevenson, rest in peace. He is fantastic in this first episode. I thought he brought a presence to him, and sort of almost like a broken sort of character type of deal. We don't know that much about him yet. We learned a little bit in episode 2, but as is this, he does a great job. It's just unfortunate that he died during before this was released, or just died in general. It's just unfortunate. Ivanna, I don't know. These are actors have weird names, but she's playing Sin, who is the Padawan of Rey's character, and she was also a badass. She has a lightsaber fight at the end of this episode with Sabine, and so yeah, I enjoyed this first episode a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. There's minor bits where it's felt a little cliche, but I'm trying not to get my hopes too high up, because these series start out pretty well and next they just slowly decline. Obi-Wan, I enjoyed a lot when the first couple of episodes dropped. Mandalorian, I thought it was okay, but nothing terrible. And next, the Book of Boba Fett, I was enjoying those first couple episodes, but then it slowly went downhill. So I'm sort of keeping my my hype low, and not really, letting my my excitement overgrade this. But yeah, I'll give my rating for the first episode at the end of this video. But episode 2, still on par with the first episode. I enjoyed it a lot. There's definitely cliche moments. There was a couple of lines where I was like, I predicted before they even see them, because it felt like I've seen this scene before. So basically, Sabine runs off with this map that leads to Ezra and Thrawn and all of that, and which that was in the first episode, which was a huge cliche bit. Ahsoka's obviously pissed, which I don't know why Ahsoka's like, how dare she freaking, runs off with this. It's like, in which they do call her out. It's like, you were stubborn during the Clone Wars 2 and all of that. And so I think, but they were also trying to go for, even though she, made decisions that wasn't really, she wasn't really following orders or whatnot, and they sort of kind of backfire. She learns her lesson, and I think that's what they're trying to go for with Sabine. But there's no scene with Sabine about that, about like her learning her lesson or anything. Maybe she did and all that, because by the end of this episode she's like ready. It's like, where was the character built of that little? There's sort of little plot holes between that, but also Ahsoka is kind of a fucking idiot, and I'm kind of reverting back to the first episode. But she leaves her with this map because Sabine wants to go somewhere else that's, pretty dangerous. Ahsoka doesn't tell her, hey, there's these two Jedis, they're probably hunting us down because we have that map, and that map's very important, and you know that. I would like you to stay here where it's safe, but no, Sabine just leaves. So that was dumb on her part, but she was also dumb just leaving the map with Sabine and not keeping an eye on her. So that is dumb and cliche, but my point being, there's still stuff in this episode that I predicted was going to happen. Sabine's like gets stabbed in the previous episode. She's in the hospital, and and she still wants to help Ahsoka. Ahsoka's like, no, you've done enough. And it's like, that's a very cliche line. It's like, you could change it up at least. And that scene's coming, but that's a freaking. I hate that line, and it's very cliche. It's used a lot, and it's like you can still have that scene. Just change the wording around. They could feel a little bit more meaningful instead of like, you've done enough. So in this episode, Ahsoka and Hera team up because they go to this graveyard site, and they kind of find out that Morgan, who's played by Dina Lee, I have no idea. I get names. I don't know, but Dina. I can say Dina. They kind of find out that this area that was used to be run by the Empire are sort of still kind of loyal, but not more. They kind of say like they're just greedy and all that. Greedy, loyal. That kind of it depends on how you look at it. It's kind of still the same thing, and I mean, money makes you loyal, kind of deal. So I don't know. But they kind of go to this. They kind of go to that website. They go to that graveyard. They kind of scout it out, and things kind of turn out into a big fight, which was pretty cool. A little bit of a shorter episode. The first one was like almost an hour long. This one's like 40 minutes long. A little bit of a shorter episode, but the fights in this episode hold up. Like, you get a fight between like I believe it's an Inquisitor. This person has like a Inquisitor lightsaber, and it functions like the Inquisitor lightsaber as well. So I'm assuming that's a previous Inquisitor, which I guarantee is going to be someone that Ahsoka knows from the Clone Wars. I guarantee it's going to be some reveal of that form. And so that was a pretty cool fight between them. And next they kind of get a tracker on their ship because they find out that they find out where Thrawn is, but they need to travel there, so they get a hyperdrive, and they kind of need this big, huge ass hyperdrive for this, basically not like this station that they used, sort of like, it reminds me of like in episode 2 of Attack of the Clones, like this freaking Saphir thing where they put their ship in and it takes them into hyperdrive for stuff like far away or something that doesn't have a hyperdrive. And it's just, it looks like a bigger version of that, I think. I don't know, we'll have to see where it goes. But yeah, that's kind of more of a compressed episode where more of like Sabine, more like thinking of things and like, more trusting in her thoughts or something. It's more of like focus on Ahsoka, Hera, and trying to figure out how to find the map, basically, because the map got stolen and all that. And that's the best way I can describe this episode. I don't want to give everything away, even though this contains spoilers. Hopefully I said that at the beginning of this video. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed these first 2 episodes. I think it's a good start. Hopefully they can keep it up. It's supposed to be 8 episodes, so there's 2 episodes, so 6 more episodes left. I'm going to give episode 1 of Ahsoka a B+, and I'm going to give episode 2 of Ahsoka a B+. I think they're on the same level. I felt the chemistry between them. We're still missing Zeb. Zeb didn't make a cameo or appearance in this. He did make an appearance in The Mandalorian. I guarantee he's going to make an appearance in this. And in some form. I'm more curious how they're going to work in Hayden Christian. That's one of the things that's made me excited for the show. I like Hayden Christian as Anakin Skywalker, so I want to see him more of stuff in stuff like this as that character, because I think he does it pretty well, and he's gotten better over the time, over the years. And I mean, like, we didn't really get to see that much of a performance from him in Obi-Wan, but you can see that he has taken some of the criticism from the prequels and, you know, did them a lot better in that one than, you know, most scenes in the prequels. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm still keeping my, you know, hoping not to overexcite myself and to be disappointed afterwards. But yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys thought of the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka down below. Thank you guys for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.